Today's episode, Raid and Shoot Offense in 2025. Today I'm going to be taking a look at how I'm running the Raid and Shoot offense with the Cal Bears in my online Dynasty league that I run called GameDay Dynasty. So this is kind of going to be my scheme card, kind of gives an overview of what the concepts are going to be at a high level, as well as, my general philosophy. So I'm going to stretch defenses short and wide with the air raid and vertically with the run and shoot. Offense is mostly 10p spread, but we'll line up in other alignments utilizing shifts, motions, and tempo. So kind of taking the best of both offenses and merging them together with a lot of the more vertical game of the run and shoot, as well as some of its run game. So starting with the run game, we're going to have dive. That's going to be a run we like. We're going to run that at the open A gap this year. Other years I've liked it kind of at the one tech, but this year it's better, in my opinion, to that open A gap. So if you see that open A gap, like in this image right here, this is a look where that's going to be a pretty favorable run, especially with only 5 in the box. We're really only going to run against 5 in the box until the run game gets further patched. Versus 6-man boxes, stuff gets really screwy. You end up with guys blocking deep safeties and stuff still. So let's avoid that. We also are going to run inside zone, and we're going to run that at that one tech DT. In the past, I've kind of liked that as well against an open A gap. The opposite of dive, in this case, it's going to be at that one tech. I'll also run HB base. I don't think I show that in this. I don't think I have an image of that one handy, but I'll run that a little bit. It's kind of also hit or miss, but if you get that kind of look, it's really good. Instead, I'll also run counter. The counter and pistol is pretty good, and in general, it's essentially the same thing as base with a slightly different action by the back, but it's one puller from 10p. It's going to be essentially the same blocking scheme. I'm sure someone's going to be offended that I just said that, but more or less, it's going to be the same. You're going to just follow that lead blocker through the hole. So that leads us to our RPOs and screens. We're going to have our halfback screen. I really like this one weak, especially when you see a man alignment like right there where there's no overhang to the left. That means you get one blocker out there on top of the one guy that's going to be on your running back, and you are covered. That should give you a good 10-yard gain. You want to keep your eyes in the backfield because some guys are going to be getting free rushes at you, and you got to make sure you get the ball off successfully before they get to you, but you want to buy as much time for the screen as possible beforehand. The bubble screen is still part of my offense. It is not something I'm going to use a ton. I will use it more if I see that corner outside there pressed, which will kind of take away a lot of my flanker screens I'm going to be running. And when they do take that away, I find that the bubble is usually pretty good, especially from too high with that press guy out there. This is a cover 6 look, so that's gonna, or even palms. Actually, this may be palms. If you see this kind of look, then this is probably going to be the better choice. If you do get that corner off and too high, then I'm going to be running the RPO wide receiver screen, the Randy screen, and that's going to be the one I love the most, and I'm going to probably pepper that in enough. You're going to hit them with this short stuff so much, they're going to start throwing out hard flats on you, which will open up stuff later in the scheme. But in the meantime, if they're going to play deep on you, a lot of guys are going to want to, against the run and shoot, go 3 drop or 4 drop and just play coverage. Then some of this stuff is going to be really good. This is dog, essentially. You could put that flat on a out. It doesn't play that much different. I kind of like the flat a little bit better, but technically I probably should put them both on outs if I'm running dog as an RPO, which is a kind of the run and shoot version of stick. You have 2 double outs, and it's really good this year against most coverages, honestly. It's not great versus everything. It can be boxed, but we'll get into dog more appropriately here in the drop back passes here in a minute. This is a really cool play. It's basically the trips version and run and shoot of slant bubble. And I'll run slant bubble from 2x2 some, but it's really great because you build it from the old version of slide, and you just slant the outside guys, basically. But it's great because that route there by Hill A he's going to clear out almost any user, almost any flat defender. And if there is a hard flat, he's going to chase out there to the bubble, which then gives you that slant in a wide open window. Here's dog. We're going to like this into the boundary, especially in Madden. It's a little different when you're talking in CFB. It's a little tighter if you're going into the boundary, but I still prefer it that way often. But you can do it really either way with dog. But you're going to read that really just inside out. And if for some reason both are covered, then you're going to just automatically throw it to that slant backside. Because if they've got the both outs bagged, that slant's going to be the option, or you're going to get the sack trying to wait for something else to come open because nothing else will. Go. It really, you're going to watch that alert. If that route by Waddle, the live streak read, he's going to widen as he goes up that stem. If he gets open at all, you got to just rocket it in there. Otherwise, you're going to read it kind of bottom up. So you're going to read that flat route back up to the live streak read after he makes his choice, and then either backside or to that go. On slide is great to the field, and it is my go-to 3 sky beater. If you get any kind of zone, really, it's pretty good. Especially against 3 sky. It's especially good against quarters and a lot of cover 4 variants. So it's going to be a useful tool to use. I try not to spam it too much, but every time I need a big third down, it's usually a good play you can kind of call on situationally. It's not the only one I use there, so don't try and game plan against me with that. Of course, we have our good old divide series. Over there on the left, we're going to be tagging in different stuff. So this is the deep out. I really like that against a lot of stuff. As I went through in the divide video, which you can watch, the out, the comeback are the 2 most common ones I'll use over there. But, there's going to be times where you're going to want the fade as well. Here's what that comeback looks like. They both kind of attack the same grass, just kind of from a different angle. And really, you're going to be looking, if that guy over there on the left is one-on-one, then you can get him the ball pretty easily with both those routes. And if he gets doubled, then you're going to have really great leverage somewhere on the trip side. So that's kind of a left to right read. You're just going to be alerting over there on the left and then reading the right side. And of course, if you get press, especially if you get one high press or something where that, really is a little bit more viable. If that was 2-man right here, that safety could probably get back there and help bracket it. But again, you can read that and then come back across and get that switch post over the middle. If that is 2-man, then that should be wide open for you. So it's all about, just attacking them and their leverage at every level. There's going to be other plays that I use as well in this game. This is in college football, and this is my Run and Shoot 01 playbook. I'm going to hopefully have this up here on Playbook Share tonight. I'll look it up under Scheme Guide, as well as the 4-2-5 TCU defense I'm running. The big thing I'll say about that defense is it's going to be a lot of quarters, palms, cover 6, cover 9, 6 invert, a little bit of 6 Willie, a little bit of 2 invert, a little bit of cover 0 blitzes. But really, that's about it. All out of a cover 4 shell with the safeties close, heavily in 4-2-5 formations, like the 4-2-5 big nickel over G and big nickel under, as well as a little bit of 4-4, a little bit of nickel sets, like nickel wide. But for the most part, I'm going to be in those most of the game. If you learned something in this video, make sure you smash that like button to let me know. This is going up against Fury, and Fury's been a guest before on my podcast when I was doing that podcast a couple of years ago. Great guy, Josh. He's been in our league for, 5 or 6 years now. I want to say since Madden 19, maybe it was Madden 20. And we have a really long history. He goes from one extreme to the other. He's either running the air raid and passing it 90% of the time, or he's in the flex bone and running it 90% of the time. He's not a man for in the middle. So he's trying to get the ball out there to his back. He's running a version of the shoot too, but he runs his a little different. So it's going to be interesting to see how in this game I choose to defend him. how he responds. You can see my defense is kind of 4 across right there, and then they're going to break off. I'm in cover 2 on this one. I get to his guy and I force the drop. I do that a lot this game. After the game, he's going to be mad that you can click over and play receiver and force drops, and that he's very anti-click on. That's one of his strong beliefs. I don't feel like I click on a lot. He said I did, so I'm curious to see how often I'm clicking on offense and hitting possession catch. I feel like I only do it when it's a catch in traffic kind of situation, but I probably do it more often than I realize. So I'm switching into dive, and I'm saying I'm going to run at that open A gap like I was saying. Not the best run, but I got 4 yards. That's not bad. Keep the chains moving. 2nd and 6. I'm going with the Randy RPO over there. Now, the numbers really weren't great to that side because 2 of those guys were stacked over there, and I don't think I caught that. You can see how they're stacking over there right now over the left slot, and there's no one over on the other side. I saw that, and I tried to throw it, but I got a flag for offensive pass interference. Okay. That's what I get for trying to snap too fast, I guess. I don't think it was too fast, but he definitely had some weird alignment thing going on there. And I had a receiver uncovered. So I'm looking at my shifts, and I'm going to go from this. Oh, I'm just going to go with levels. And I missed it. Yeah. Ugly start to this one. I am playing with a true freshman out of Hawaii. And I'm giving him the start, or I will be giving him the start. We haven't started our official season. We've been in a test league, and this is a game in our test league on our new sliders. We've been testing sliders all the last month or so. And I think we've got a pretty good set for user versus user. I might post it on Operation Sports once we get it fine-tuned. So here I've got 6 invert, which is a coverage I'm really liking, especially in this defense. I like it with the invert side into the boundary or against, any kind of pro formation structure, which is going to be no slot receiver to that side. But even if there is a slot receiver to the side, if it is into the boundary and they're on the hash, it's still pretty viable. In fact, I've been able to trap guys with it a few times where they think that they're going to get a free release up the seam and that deep half is able to still play it. So, good job defense. We caused a 4th and 21. Fury doesn't like punting, but he doesn't really have much of a choice in that field position in this game situation to do anything else. I should have fair caught that. That could have been a fumble. We got lucky. You can see I definitely have some plays in here that I did not show up at the beginning. Oh, Army's another one I really do like. Let's see if I'm calling that here. I am. So I'll put that A route on a speed out. It's not going to let me because of the stadium pulse, but I hate that route that's on their stock because it will hitch up almost all the time and never run out. And it's not supposed to hitch. Now there, it did. I could have thrown it sooner. That was just ugly. That is not how you want to operate a passing game. So it's kind of a rough start so far. But we do have 2nd and 6 again. Here's one of those motion screens from the air raid that I like. And if you see them respond, that one is it's an RPO where the quarterback can keep it on a draw. And so you read if the guy on their back runs out with him. If he does, then you run the QB draw. And if he doesn't, then you throw it. I really love those in this game. And there you go with dog. You can hit that sweet spot and turn it upfield. I'm going to force him to give me hard flat so then I can start hitting deeper. Plays like Army are really good at at that because you end up with that out by 3 again. They're going to think it's the same thing, and then instead 2's going to go over the top and post against like 2-man or, a lot of the different coverages that someone might use to try and take away those outs. Yeah, that run did not go according to schedule. I did try and run a trap there. Not that great. And I'm going to go back up to the line. We have prop, which is the fade out concept over on the right, and we also have that halfback screen. And it's going to be just trying to make them pick their poison. Again, not much gain. It's okay. The run and shoot is built for comebacks. We need to get in our rhythm. We just need to get into the right play call. So I always have all my audibles set. So I'm going to go with our play 12, which is that fade. I mean, it's the slant bubble play with the inside streak read by A as a kind of a clear out. There's times where it's going to be, I threw it late, but that works. Threw it a little late. You want to throw it right as he gets into that open field. Instead, I threw it a couple steps into that open field. But luckily, that part of the field was wide open. This screen was really good last year, and it's kind of just okay this year, but it does work this rep. And now he just walks in like he owns the place. Good time to remind you, I do have a Discord called The Game Plan where we chat all the time and help each other scheme up solutions. With speed being so much a luxury in this game, and especially in college football, you want to make sure your fastest guy is at slot 1 and gadget 1. And then your second most quickest guy, doesn't necessarily have to be fastest, but your quickest guy, your Wes Welker guy, ideally he's also 90-something speed as well. You're going to put him at slot wide receiver 2 and gadget 2. And then your best 2 overall all-around receivers out wide. So I may have an 87 speed outside receiver who has, 89 catching and really good route running. And the other one might be a 90 speed, more of a project guy who still is low 80s in catching and, maybe upper 70s in route running, who can develop. So back on defense, he's in slot close, and I'm again running a cover 2 at him. He's pretty much committed that he's not going to run much in this game. So with that being said, I don't have a problem going with a little bit more drop 8. Make him show me that he's willing to run with his quarterback or run the ball with halfback and make me wrong. The other benefit of that is that you can run a little bit more cover 0, because one of the weaknesses against cover 0 is if they break a big run, you get through the first layer of defense, there's no one there often until 40 yards down the field. So I prefer to keep these 0 blitzes for more passing downs and sprinkle them in. I don't want to make it obvious when I'm going to be in them, although sometimes you will. Let's wrap up. Got that invert going again. Force another drop. That's how we like to play. We like to play physical at the catch point. We're not a big team about going for a bunch of picks. I would rather frustrate the other quarterback because he can't complete anything. That's part of how I view my defensive identity. There, we hit the quarterback. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Let's rewind that. So he's running across the middle. He starts to match him. The guy comes underneath him. And he just kind of, maybe I accidentally clicked over and moved him. I don't normally click over and move guys. Yeah, I'm going to assume that was some sort of user error. Very strange. If you notice something I missed, please comment down in the comments below and let me know. Yeah, I usually user the one tech, and I trust my guys in coverage behind me, which most of the time is pretty good, but that obviously hurt. I think that was divide special. No, it was divide swap. I feel like if I set up my defense well pre-snap, they're going to play their assignments better than I probably could. And I've seen more users screw up in a 3-rec, and they're supposed to take that back to the flat, and they don't. They guard the middle of the field. There's so many things, especially with these match coverages, that you can screw up. And I'm not that great in coverage. I've always played as a defensive tackle. I played defensive tackle in high school, so that's kind of how I've always approached defense. And since QB Club 96, I was playing as Leon Lett and Chad Henning. So, that's kind of where I started using on defense in these games, and have kind of always played there ever since, with Warren Sapp and J.J. Watt and Aaron Donald over the years. Being some of my favorite defenders. Ndamukong Suh. Oh, he was a beast. See, I have that switch sail in here. I don't know why. I'm not really a huge fan of it in this year's game. So there it is again with divide. I do like putting that guy on a post, that short end. It's a little bit of an easier. And he was probably more open than the guy I threw it to. So again, kind of a rough start here. Can we get into rhythm? That's the biggest thing with the passing offense, is it's easy to go 3 and out, not really get in a rhythm, not really build that confidence up. And in simulation mode, in Dynasty and in franchise and Madden, it really seems to make an impact. That should have been a pick. That was a dumb decision. I forced that. Luckily, he didn't click over and hold Y, because if he had, I would have been done for. So I got away with one there, but that was a good run. My speedy receiver just got injured on the play, so that's always fun on a run play. And he was all the way out wide, blocking a corner, and got himself injured. So now DeJesus, who is more in my shifty number 2 slot, is going to be my main guy, but that's okay. Yeah, I was trying that draw play with the motion, but I'm not a huge fan of it. It's only in trips and college football. It's not in Madden. But I have not had a lot of success with it yet. I like it in concept, though, because this offense has so much. Now, with it having the stadium pulse, sometimes I won't do the backside slant, but every time I don't do it, I wish I had. I'll just put it that way. That slant on the backside can help influence coverage positively for that inside streak read if he becomes viable. There's a couple coverages where that inside streak read, who are just kind of where I keep my eyes on that play. I'm going to watch his stem, and if I see him wide open, I'm going to throw it to him. Otherwise, that slant's going to come right into the window, and I'll throw it to him on time. So that's kind of what I'm doing with my eyes there. I'm just watching that grass over the inside streak read. So this is choice, and I put a little Texas on the backside, but I ended up going with the drag. It's kind of a follow concept. That's not something I've seen a run and shoot team do, but it wouldn't surprise me if someone's done it at some point. It's kind of an obvious tag. It's not something I do a lot, but it is something I do sometimes. So here again is divide with the post, which makes it almost like a double post. there over the middle, and I had the deep outside, which is what I like. Oh, and that was nasty. That was nasty. And our offense is off and running. Now we got the lead, 14-7. Well, I got to make this extra point first. No promises on that. I'm really bad at the new kick meter from last year. Yeah, just trying to make it all look the same. I got cover 9 going on. We're hitting the guy at the catch point, making him drop it, 2nd and 10. Another example of my defense smothering. The more defenders you have near the catch, the lower the catch percentage and the higher percent chance of a play receiver working. Man, I had a free shot there at the quarterback if he hadn't gotten it out fast, but he did get it out fast, so good on him. Just the way everything was lined up there, I thought he would be a little bit better positioned, that safety, kind of more in the middle of the field, because there was no one on the other side for him to defend, especially against like 4 strong kind of alignments. But here we have 2x2, slot close. And he's running, was that hitches? It looked like the outside's curled up and the inside's streaked. He definitely runs some stuff that I wouldn't touch. So here's an example where I'm running 2-man, but I'm running it from that far back, and of course he runs on it. And I'm going to challenge that because I think that should be 3rd and inches. It looked like he was short. But I think that, yeah, I think I missed. And, yeah, 1st and 10. Sometimes I'll come out in those 0 blitzes, and then I'll audible out. There we go. Hit him again at the catch. At this point, he's starting to curse, probably. But at the same time, he's refusing to click over and hit A on any of these. He's letting the computer just catch them. So I don't know if I should feel bad for him when he refuses to use the game mechanics because of his own personal view. I don't know. That is an ethical question. I think that would be great for people to give their thoughts on in the comments below. If you have an opponent that refuses to click on because he feels it's cheese to hit possession catch when you're about to get hit. I mean, to me, that's exactly what possession catch is designed for. I don't think that is cheesy at all. It doesn't guarantee you a catch either, because, you know, if I'm hitting play receiver, then it's going to look at their ratings and it's, you know, a dice roll. But it definitely improves your odds rather than letting the CPU just auto catch it. I feel like if he chooses not to, that's on him. I don't feel like that means I should avoid hitting play receiver. But, you know, I could see others feeling differently. Now there, that could have been a pick. Now, if I see my guy in perfect position, I won't switch over and hit Y, but I find that it seems like you can trigger when that animation hits. If you just tap Y with your user on, whoever else you're on, it could be placebo. And Wendy on our server has said that he thought it was placebo. He tested it. It feels like it works for me. So take that for whatever it's worth. I don't think you have to click over to get them to trigger the animation. But I think if you do click over, it's probably more responsive. To me, it's kind of like when you throw to a receiver, you don't have to switch to the receiver to make them rack catch. While you're still using the quarterback and the ball's in the air, you can just hit rack. You're still on the quarterback. You're not on the receiver. And that was a great catch. Good old forverts. True streak. So now we're all tied up about the midpoint of the second quarter. Maybe not the midpoint, but about the middle. Going to be starting there between the hashes. Around the 19, is that? Yeah, about the 19. Going back with dive. He's technically got 6 in the box. Yeah, I should have ran that there. Make sure you count your box before you go to your run. You want to make sure you do have those favorable numbers. His guys were kind of lined up kind of weird, and so I don't think it fully registered with me. But you got to have your checklist, and you got to make sure you go through it so you can eliminate those kind of plays that are just not super efficient. In college football, they have the pistol flex bone, and you can make it 10p with the right stick formation subs. So I definitely added in this, and I like it as a package, especially to come out in and then audible to something else. But it also has a number of really cool options and motions, and a lot of this stuff is what Mouse Davis was running in the 70s at Portland State, and especially going back even more into his high school days in the late 60s, early 70s. So a lot of the more flex bony stuff that you'll see was stuff that Mouse Davis was doing as part of his offense, but it got trimmed away by the time he got to the USFL in the 80s. He had streamlined it into a sleek package of just 5 or 6 pass concepts and 5 or 6 run concepts, and that was it. But originally, this formation was called the run and shoot formation. It was also called double slot, but today, most people would call it flex bone. I think that graphic just said he was at negative rushing yards on the day. So here's one of those shifts, and now I'm just going into dogs. That's a cool looking shift. I probably should have thrown it to the outside out there, the way that flat defender kind of played number 3. It's okay. 3rd and 6. Probably going to go with mesh. The way I've been running mesh this year is the way June runs it, which, yeah, you just drag Y on Nebraska. And then it's either him or the other guy. And his safety, he clicked over and dove him on accident. And that was the guy that was going to be responsible for that. So that's what broke down there. And now we got my guy celebrating in the end zone. That's the Jesus. I hate this in the game where it automatically, if you're in a custom, it may not do it with a stock book, but if you come out in a custom, it automatically defaults onside kick first. I've accidentally come out an onside kick a dozen times, and both Madden and in college football, it's quite annoying. I think it's just the dumb order of formations you can't change. I just wish, if that's the reason, can we just make onside be at the end of the order? I don't care if it's, in a set order, but it shouldn't be the default one it comes up to every time you get a kickoff screen. Just my 2 cents. I think EA does a terrific job about a lot of stuff. They get a lot of shit that they really shouldn't, and there's, haters like Ryan Moody who just do all sorts of crazy stuff. That one, I sent an end in coverage, and he ended up running way back. Who was that flag on? Oh, well, good for him. So now I've got contains on. Oh, almost got there. And I was a little late with my click over and play receiver. I didn't time it right. And when you don't time it right, that happens. It does take skill to cause those knockouts. I missed it that time. And one thing that was nice about his attack is he kept attacking deep, even though I kept forcing these drops. He kept peppering those deep shots in, and eventually hit on a number of them. I don't remember what the exact percentages are. We'll see at the end of the game. But I'm pretty sure my completion percentage is way better than his. But our yardage and touchdowns are pretty comparable. And it's because he was able to hit a number of those kind of passes, whereas I had a lot more dinks and dunks. But at the end of the day, we got a lot of that same production. Now, I hit that out there because that was the way I read it, but I think the halfback swing screen would have been there. If you haven't already, please make sure you like and comment in the comments below. Helps the algorithm know that you like this content and that it should push it to new people. Going back again to divide swap. I really was going to this a lot in this game. I don't know if there's a reason why. Maybe just because I know he's going to be playing a lot of quarters against me, and it's a decent quarters beater. Yeah, that didn't really go for much. I'm probably going with 60 slide. Like I said earlier, I really like this on third down, especially this kind of distance. I wouldn't use it on a 3rd and 29, but and I should have hit the X. That wasn't where I should have gone with that one. I like the leverage on it, but with having 2 guys there and then his guy shoved, that's the other thing that isn't good. Is it will put you recommended to come out and punt return because it recommends to me to punt, even though I've picked a formation. It should, go off of that. This is ballsy. 4th and 11. It's, it is within the final 2 minutes of the half. And then I'm throwing a fade. Oh, and I double caught it. Yeah, I think he about threw his I think he threw his controller across the room and made a permanent hole in the wall. Because I did a Cliff Kingsbury on a 4th and 11 and threw a one-on-one ball outside deep, and he double caught it. In a tie ball game, he would have gotten the ball in great position, Could have gone up 28-21 easily. But now I'm going to be in much better position to do that instead. Definitely had some luck go my way. I feel like getting that completion percentage up helps with that, with the random number kind of everything. And that's what happens with bubbles against hard flats, if they don't pick it entirely. So going back to what I was saying earlier about bubbles, it's in the game. I have it in my playbook, but I really don't call it too much. That play went nowhere. Now we have 4th and 2. A tie game at the end of the half. I've got 2 timeouts. I think I probably will just call a timeout and kick the field goal. Am I really going to go for it here? Oh no, on the hash too. And I missed. And he gets the ball with 1 second. Yeah, I mismanaged that. I think with the amount of time that was left, I should have called a pass play that could get 2 yards and then called a timeout, and then still had enough time probably for 2 plays to try and get it in or kick the field goal. But hey, that will help. I'm a little bit like Greg Williams when it comes to Hail Mary situations. I'm not going to let that quarterback hang on to the ball. I'm going to make him get the ball out of his hands fast. I don't want him launching it 70 yards. And if he does, I want him under duress and not aiming it accurately. But hey, I get the ball second half. Who's played a better half so far, in your opinion? The scoreboard might be tied at 21, but I'll let you decide. It's weird. Some of the plays that I put for different situations just don't seem to show up in my game plan in game and my suggestions. Like I have the trips RPO Randy play really high on, I think it might be ranked 5 stars on first down, but I didn't see it anywhere in that menu. The one in trips, not the one in pistol or spread. One thing I haven't seen myself do it yet in the game, but another thing I like to do other than that pistol flex button, and that's one where I should have ran it with the quarterback. One thing I like as well is the split back formation. I think it's split slot and split slot offset. So those are default 20 personnel, but if you use the gadget at half back, it will put your slot receiver 1 in the backfield. Well, in my case, if you set up your depth chart the way I said it will, it'll put whoever you have at gadget 1 there. But I put my slot wide receiver 1 at gadget 1 so that he'll show up there. And then you can audible from that into spread, and the back will just go from the backfield up and get in the slot, and you're in 2x2. You can motion him to trips, and again, he'll do kind of the same thing. So that's a really cool way you can disguise what formation you're going to be going to by coming out in that. It also has a really good motion swing, has a really good power run. There's a few other really good plays in those 2 formations. Air Raid 8. I use Z-spot. Wide corner. This is cool. You can actually throw it to the backside screen or to the cross screen. And it did not work that time, but sometimes it does. Now, if I was a little bit more on my game, I'd realize he probably had hard flats, and that's why that flanker got taken away. So it might be time to run your fake screen or run Army. So he's got the safeties kind of wide. He's got his corners kind of low. He's got, some sort of cover. Maybe he's showing 0. Or maybe it's show 2 with safeties close and wide. He's doing some screwy stuff. He got me that time. 3rd and 11. Based on this, am I in slide? Am I going to show the play? Yeah, I am in slide. Got him, but short. So now we're in 4th and 1. Madden gods have been good to you so far this game. Let's keep riding. He's going to pinch. He's going to hover. Or he's going to bring his guy down. He's going to say, hey, I'm covering you. Cool. You cover the run. That means no one's covering him. Did Jesus got you? I'm 24-30 so far. He's 12-22. We're just going to keep peppering him with screens, with swing screens, with these quick outs. We're going to get them with unders, with cross screens. And then we're going to hit him deep. Yeah, could not get that one off. So one thing I might do when I'm backed up, I didn't have a successful first down. There's always switch. I thought I was going to maybe do the motion slide. Oh, he's got cover 2 and had everyone dropping way back on me. Fun. And I had no one underneath to attack it. That was a good defense by him on that play. The one time I don't attack short. He's got everyone bailing deep. So I got that speed out on Army. Oh, I'm throwing into coverage. Oh, that was ugly. Everything about that was ugly. That wasn't a great play call. And then I forced it. Because there was nowhere else to go on that. You got to put yourself in a better situation than I just did. If your first read isn't there, you need to have a second. On the 3rd and 10, there's no excuse to only have one route that's really getting enough depth to get there. That's viable. One thing I try and do on my channel is give plugs to really good content creators out there and help grow the community of these sim, Madden, and college football, content creators. One great one that I've found is Subtonic24 Gaming. I would definitely recommend checking him out. He's got 2.37 thousand subscribers, so a few more than me. Only about 20 videos out right now, and he's mostly doing air raid. Disrupting the pass game. That is the name of the game. If I'm in quarters, if I'm in palms, if I'm in 6, if I'm in 9, if I'm in 0, I'm going to make it look all the same. You're not going to know until my guys are breaking on the ball, which coverage I'm in. That's a coverage sack. Love it. 3 and out. We get the ball back. So we made some mistakes. Threw a dumb pick into coverage. But defense saved the day. We still have an opportunity to stay in the lead position in a tie ball game. 3 minutes left in the 3rd. Yeah, I was toying around with this wide trips. It had wide trips, halfback weak, has some levels plays. I don't really like the spacing on them, though. I think I ended up deleting this formation after the game. And it's definitely not in my Madden. That formation isn't even in Madden. But trying that angle screen. Oh, it got pixelated there. I apologize. Yeah, let's get into a better play. I don't think that is a better play, but we're just gonna hope for the best. One thing that's nice when you do get kind of pass happy and you catch yourself being pass happy is your opponent's probably pass committing. And so that's the perfect time where you can sometimes just break these longer runs because the defense has just been pinning their ears back, waiting for the run. That worked out very well. It's the Jesus again. 27 of 35, 358, 4 touchdowns. Let's not talk about the picks. Reminder that my run and shoot guide will be up on my Patreon probably about the same time this video is up, if not shortly thereafter, so you definitely want to go check that out. It's going to have all sorts of history and information and breakdowns and playbooks and progressions and recommendations for different coverages. I mean, it's going to give you the full gambit. So there's 10 minutes and 47 seconds left in this game, assuming it doesn't go to overtime, and I've got the lead. Defense needs to show up like they did last drive and force another 3 and out. He's in pistol spread. What am I going with? I go with, I guess, cover 9. Got him. The few times he did ran, it didn't go that well. One reason I picked Cal is I really like the quarterback. The other reason is Nick Rolovich is an assistant there. He's a offensive consultant, or senior offensive consultant, I think is what they called him. He was joking about the fact that he's a senior. Oh, almost got there on that sack. He got it off at the last second. Cover 9. Nice try, but I ended up having 3 defenders there at the catch point within proximity, so his chances of coming down with that were slim, especially without him clicking over and holding Y. Oh, there. Oh, my user. Oh, my gosh. D-line got to him at the last second, but hey, another crazy hit right at the catch point, and his guy dropped it. We are punishing their bodies. We're like Bane.
Oh, yes. I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body.
What a crazy play, and he gets a first down. And honestly, that's the right call. You know, if everyone's covered, then no one's covering you, so tuck it and run. That's what I always say. And that's kind of what he did. Kept his drive alive. And that's really why. Earlier you may have noticed I was putting a lot of QB contains out there. And of course, the few times I don't are when he does that. Shotgun spread. I'm going with cover 2? I don't know if I like that.
Like I said, I love that.
Again, almost got him. Almost got the ball too. 3rd and 11. Fury down 7. Oh, and I got a free rush because it's a screen. Oh, I bit it. I bit that hard. Oh, and he's going to get almost all the way there. 1st and goal at the 1. Now, normally I would call a timeout and come out in goal line so I have better gap integrity against inside runs here, but that wouldn't have helped me anyways because he ended up throwing it out quickly. Smart play. I was worried about the inside run, and he apparently run and shoot Y stick, which I never run that play either. Assuming that play information is correct. I've noticed it was wrong a number of times in my games still this year. I thought that was an issue last year that would have gotten patched at some point. Still is an issue in this year's game. Why have previous play information if it's frequently just a random play from the formation you're in? Not even remotely anything related to what you called in the huddle, much less what you ran on the field. They got to come up with a better system. I think you do need to have the previous play information, but it being broken the way it is, it's just kind of silly. The blocking was pretty good there. 7-yard run, I'll take it. When you can start getting those 7-yard runs, and here's that split slot formation I was talking about. And I had a question about if my gadget was set up correctly, because I thought I looked earlier and it didn't change his position, but it did have the right guys here. I think I swap out and put DeJesus in, or no, Hamper, just another receiver. Sometimes it doesn't show it in the play call screen at first. There's like a weird delay that kind of happens sometimes. But yeah, sure enough. Actually, no, it still came out in 20 personnel. So I don't know what the issue is there. I had that little Randy screen, but that went nowhere. And I no huddle thinking I was going to be able to change formations, and I can't. So now I'm stuck with 8. Probably should have called a timeout. Oh, A was the call. But hey, that works. I totally read that wrong. I don't know what I did there because my eye should have been on the corner stem, and he had inside leverage, one-on-one. He had open grass outside of him. He was wide open. But hey, that works. Now the smash, I only really like this against like quarters, palms, maybe 2-man, where you can get that middle vert open over the middle. I'll take it. We're all tied up in the 4th. I need to make sure I score on this drive. And that didn't cover it that poorly. There's been years in the past where that route gets kind of stupid open. It didn't get stupid open. He just had good leverage. At least on this rep. I'm sure it probably still does against palms, I think. But I don't think he was running palms that time. Not a lot going on the short stuff right now because he's been adjusting to it, and I need to be attacking off of that. I'm not right now. But he's showing me he's going to sell out to stop the outs and the screens, so that's really where I should be going to the fake screens and stuff like Army and Go that have that out, but then vertical routes. Yeah, that was not pretty. Third and 8. Not a big fan of this play call, but let's see. Oh, A. Yeah, he gave inside leverage, and that defender did not jump it. It could have, but he didn't, and I let it just outside of him. Again, maybe I just got lucky because of the way Fury plays defense there. I ran right into a brick wall on that one, though. Clock is ticking, though, so that is valuable. I'm trying to make switch mesh. And I should throw A, and got sacked. I think I probably went with curl flat corner. And I'm going to put him on a streak. And then basically just treat it like Houston. Yeah, but the protection didn't hold up. So it's 4th and 24. You can't go for this. You got to punt. You got to play defense. Got to trust that if you are going to give up a score, it'll be a quick one or it won't be at all. Especially with 3 timeouts left. To get that punt inside the 20 and then to have that happen is frustrating. Especially with the defenders just sitting there waiting. Instead, he's starting at like the 41. He could eat up the rest of the clock, potentially. And then kick a field goal. I mean, that would be a longer drive, but possible. Of course, you'd have to be completing those. Oh, he overthrew it. Lucky me. I thought his guy was going to be there at the catch point on time before my guy could interfere with it. So now 3rd and 10. I'm bringing it. Probably a mistake there. Oh, big play. Okay. Defense can still come up big. Keep him to a field goal. Maybe confined spaces, maybe I can get a turnover. Another one broken up. I think that's one of my starting mic backers. Wrapped him up, 3rd and 11. Still have all my timeouts. And he's only really burned about 30 seconds off, it looks like. Maybe a little bit more, but not much more. So it looks like I'm going with a 2 sim pressure at a nickel. And of course, the blitzer from the other side rushes him out, and Oh, that was a great play there by my defender who picked up the fumble. Huge play. I think after the game, Fury said the fumble really changed the whole course of the game. Maybe. It definitely helped prevent a score there. But if I had held him to a field goal there, nothing would have really changed, I don't think, but maybe a little bit momentum-wise. Nice. That little juke. Not a huge juker, but I've been able to get a few of those in the open field with some of these shifty receivers this year in a way that I couldn't before, so that's cool. Yeah, I was surprised to see that June Jones ran the shallow screen. I don't know if he ran it first or if he got it from Lincoln, but yeah, they ran that in Seattle some. So I like the numbers out there. I think is why I went with the Randy. He almost picked it. But when that corner's that low, you can't really throw the Randy. You really need the corner to be at that like cover 4 look. Got away with one there. I'm sure Fury's watching this saying, you got away with about 15 of them. And that might be true. To me, that's all part of balancing your game momentum, keeping your quarterback in a good rhythm. Here we are now, game on the line, all tied up at the 2-minute warning, 4th and 6 on my side of the field. I think it was late, and I'm like, I'm not playing for overtime. If I was more okay with playing late, maybe I would have punted here. This is a little bit more aggressive than even I typically do. I don't know why I did a comeback over there, but it doesn't matter. Just get that slant in the window on time. That's exactly how you throw it. And then come back out, and we got the screen. He wraps it up, but that's fine. We're going to keep tempo. Maybe I went with mesh wheel. Yeah, I did. X. Yep.
If you haven't already, this is the perfect time to comment down below. Whose game did you like better? Fury's or mine? Cal or Virginia Tech? Make your opinion known.
Oh, why am I going with a play I never have run before? Not the best move. But got a guy wide open over the middle, so I'll take it. Typically don't do that kind of stuff. They ran a version of Houston or Texas that they had the running back run the corner out and the slot receiver run the it's basically red zone scissors. And I was wanting to run it because of that. They call it Waco. Got that one-on-one out there. Love it. Clock is running. I'm in position now for the field goal, but I don't trust my field goal team. So I still want to try and score the touchdown here. Get the edge, get around. Now I'm scoring. I gave him 30 seconds. That's probably a mistake, but my defense has played good. I just need them to hold up for one more series. Maybe 2. That that kick meter went nuts at the end there. I'm lucky that went through. "30 seconds left. I'm up 7. And I'm going to load probably. I don't use it a ton in this defense, but to me it's a pass-only kind of situation for formation or front. The thing with nickel is it will use your sub linebackers and edge rushers and defensive line, and that's great because 4-2-5 and 3-3 don't, and 4-4 doesn't, and that's where I spend most of my time. So I like having separate pass rushers in these roles that are just pure speed rushers, that when they come in, they can just go after the quarterback in this load front or in nickel wide and just go to town. He's going to keep launching it deep. I got to keep making it not obvious what I'm in while also being sound against what he brings at me. I can't probably risk going with cover 0 again. Oh, and there I got the sack. Huge.
That QB contain came in clutch.
12 seconds, 4th and 20, and he's got to go the whole field and score. I don't know why I'm still so short with my coverage. Oh, almost got the safety. If he had caught that, that would have been huge. Now, I don't know what I ran here. I really should just kneel it. I guess I wanted to try a crazy flex bone formation here. Maybe shovel option. Load option. And then, of course, I fumble and give it right back to him, but the game's over. So, fun times. He says, yeah, right, not really. Ended up with 78.8% completion percentage, 506 passing yards, 5 TDs, and, of course, one really dumb pick thrown into coverage, which I knew better. That was on me. That was 100% user error. We got DeJesus there. That was a good play by him there at the goal line, but it was not enough. So yeah, ended up going 41 out of 52. 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, averaging 9.7. Rushing, I mean, not great, but not horrible. 8 carries, 38 yards, not a bad average. Throwing the ball really spread it out well. If James had stayed in, then that Grays guy would have been off the field a little bit more. But yeah, ended up getting the ball spread around really, really well. Everyone would have had 100 yards, all 4 of my starters. Makes it harder for them to key on one guy to stop when you got multiple guys that can be great weapons. Had way more pancakes than I had sacks, so that's good. And then defensively, Bush there had 2, and then I had 3 other sacks. So that's 5 sacks on the game. Good job, defense. I had a couple more that were almost there, but he got the ball out. I did not pick him off once. He threw up a lot of those one-on-one balls, but they were all hit right in his receiver's hands and dropped. A couple were pickable, but I didn't catch them. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about for my attack to start this cycle. Our Dynasty, called GameDay Dynasty, is going to be kicking off on September 5th. We've been waiting for the second big title update and the first big roster patch. We got the first big roster patch, but still just waiting for one more title update, trying to get the game a little bit more polished before we start making the games count. In the meantime, we've been testing our own sliders. I'm going to be posting our finalized slider set here shortly. We've almost got our sliders, I think, figured out. Once we do, I'm going to be putting them on Operation Sports, and I'll probably make a community post on my channel here. But I felt it played pretty good. He obviously had a complaint, my opponent here, about the number of drops he had. I think a lot of that was user error and just how my defensive style is, where I'm going for those breakups on a regular basis. That's part of my defensive strategy, really. That was a great play. That was the play of the game, and then that jet sweep sealed it. I do have a run and shoot guide that's going to be dropping on my Patreon in here any day now. And I do go over the origin of the raid and shoot a little bit. Here's a quote from, Hal Mummy saying there's really a lot more similarities than differences. And then in this guide, at one point here, I actually go through and I list off all of the air raid concepts. I'm not going to show them all here in the video, as well as what that install was there in 2013 at SMU. I also have a full little playbook here that has all the concepts that I've drawn out for you. So that kind of goes through all the progressions, has an area for you to do notes. It's set up right now where you can just print it out. It's about 48 pages. It's not too crazy big, but each play is its own page, and you can go through and fill out any notes you might have. You can get this on my Patreon. Link is in the description. I also will offer it for sale in my store. on Patreon, so if you don't want to necessarily go month to month with a Patreon subscription, you can just do a one-time, and it's a little bit more, but if this is the only thing you're interested in. If there's something you think I missed, or if you saw a read that I totally screwed up during the game, feel free to leave a comment down below. Make sure you hit that like button. All that engagement really helps, and until next time, keep scheming sharp.